What if the smartest people in the room were the worst at living? Not fighting villains, not saving the world, just trying to survive normal life. Because genius doesn't protect you from loneliness. It doesn't teach you love. And in this story, 7 brilliant minds slowly learn something shocking. Intelligence means nothing if you don't understand people. A world built on routine. It all begins in Pasadena. A small apartment. 2 physicists. Leonard Hofstadter, kind, awkward, hopeful. Sheldon Cooper, brilliant, rigid, impossible. Their lives are predictable. Same food nights, same schedules, same conversations, no surprises, no chaos. And then everything changes. Because across the hall, Penny arrives. She's not a scientist. She doesn't speak their language, but she understands something they don't like. And without realizing it, she becomes the force that breaks their perfectly controlled universe. The roommate from hell. Living with Sheldon isn't normal. It's a contract, literally. A roommate agreement, pages long, rules for everything. Temperature, seating positions, bathroom schedules. And if you break one, there are consequences. But here's the twist, Leonard stays. Why? Because beneath Sheldon's cold logic is something unexpected. Loyalty. When Leonard almost destroys the apartment with rocket fuel, Sheldon saves his life. When danger appears, Sheldon doesn't run. He calculates, acts, protects. So even though living with him feels impossible, leaving him feels worse. 4 misfits against the world. Leonard and Sheldon aren't alone. There's Howard Wolowitz, an engineer with confidence and zero boundaries. And Raj Koothrappali, brilliant but unable to speak to women. Together they form something rare, a group of geniuses completely lost in the real world. They hide in routines, comic books, video games, science debates, safe, controlled. But Penny doesn't fit into that world. She challenges it, pulls them out, forces them to experience things they've avoided their entire lives, and slowly they begin to change. Love enters the equation. It starts simple. Leonard falls for Penny, hard, but love isn't logical. Their relationship becomes a cycle: hope, breakup, regret, repeat. They don't fit, but they can't stay apart either, because Penny teaches Leonard confidence, and Leonard shows Penny stability. It's messy, imperfect, real, and somehow that's what makes it work. The hardest mind to change. If love is difficult for Leonard, it's nearly impossible for Sheldon. He doesn't understand emotions, avoids physical contact, rejects romance entirely, until Amy Farrah Fowler appears. She's just like him. Brilliant, logical, detached. But there's one difference: she wants connection. And slowly, Sheldon begins to change. Not all at once, not easily, but piece by piece he learns empathy, patience, love. And the most shocking part? He chooses it. From creep to family man. Howard starts off as the worst. Overconfident, inappropriate, immature. But everything changes when he meets Bernadette. She's smart, strong, unafraid, and she doesn't tolerate his nonsense. She challenges him, forces him to grow, and over time he transforms. From a man-child into a husband, a father, even an astronaut. Yes, Howard goes to space, and somehow he becomes one of the most grounded people in the group. The silent struggle. Raj's story is quieter, but just as powerful. He literally cannot speak to women. Not anxiety, not awkwardness, complete silence, unless he's drunk. But over time he changes, finds confidence, finds his voice, and while he doesn't end the story with a perfect relationship, he ends it stronger. Because growth isn't always about winning. Sometimes it's about finally being able to try. Penny, the real center. Penny isn't a scientist, but she's the glue. She grounds them, teaches them social skills, emotional awareness, real-world survival. But she changes too. From a struggling actress to a successful career woman, from uncertainty to stability. And in the end, she faces the biggest shift of all: motherhood. Something she once feared, now something she's ready for. Everything changes. Slowly. That's the beauty of this story. No sudden transformations. No overnight success. Just gradual change. Over 12 seasons, these characters evolve. They fall. They fail. They grow. Friendships deepen. Relationships stabilize. Lives expand. And the people who once couldn't function in the real world build lives within it. The final breakthrough. The biggest moment belongs to Sheldon. For years he believed one thing, that he was enough, that his intelligence made him superior, that he didn't need anyone. But then he wins the Nobel Prize, his greatest dream, the ultimate achievement. And in that moment, something breaks. Not his success, his ego, because he realizes he didn't get there alone. Standing on that stage, he does something no one expected. He thanks his friends, acknowledges their impact, admits he was wrong, and for the first time, Sheldon Cooper truly understands what it means to be human. The ending, not perfect, but real. Leonard and Penny expecting a child, starting a new chapter. Howard and Bernadette a complete family. Raj still searching, but no longer lost. Sheldon and Amy at the peak of both love and achievement, and all of them still together, eating dinner, laughing, living. Because in the end, this wasn't a story about science, or genius, or success. It was about connection, about how even the most brilliant minds need people, need love, need growth. Because no matter how smart you are, life isn't something you solve. It's something you learn. The real Big Bang. The show starts with a theory, the creation of the universe. But the real Big Bang wasn't scientific. It was emotional. The moment their isolated worlds collided, expanded, and became something bigger, something meaningful, something human. If this story made you see these characters differently, then there's a lot more hidden beneath the surface. Subscribe for deeper movie recaps, unseen details, and stories that hit harder than they should. And if you think this was just a sitcom, watch again, because it was never just about jokes.